Hi, I'm Lenora Bresler. Welcome to the April 10th, 2017 edition of the Bible, Delight in the Details, as we are preparing for Easter on this Holy Week. Well, happy Holy Week indeed. We have been talking about the Passover Seder and how that was the way that Christ prepared himself for the events of that fateful weekend, which would end, of course, in the beautiful Resurrection Sunday. One of the things that we talked about a couple days ago was the fact that what we consider Passover was really part of a 3-day triple celebration. There was Passover, and the very next day was the Festival of First Fruits, and was the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and then the Festival of First Fruits. Now, the days leading up to Passover were days of preparation in the sense that you were to prepare your heart and try to rid yourself of any outward sin. Leaven was the symbol, the earthly symbol of sin. And so the people would go to meticulous efforts to get rid of all leaven, turning clothes out and linens out, looking for the littlest bit of yeast that could multiply, and as yeast does, and if it was sin, of course, make it worse and worse. It's fascinating that while this was actually something they tangibly did, they really did look for crumbs. They were also supposed to figuratively be searching their hearts for wickedness and for sin and getting rid of that, so that they would be purified in their lives in order to partake of this triple feast time that was coming. It's fascinating to me that when Christ came in, he came in to Jerusalem, as we know from our study yesterday on Palm Sunday, on Selection Day, when the Passover lambs were selected. And just like a Passover lamb, he went immediately to the temple. Now, remember, it's this time of preparation, preparing one's hearts, removing outward and obvious sin. What did Christ do in the temple that day? He cleaned house, all right. He cleaned house big time. He got out the whip, he overturned tables, and said, "You have made my Father's house a den of robbers." It always amuses me how sometimes, people say, well, what would Jesus do? And so often they think about turning the cheek and going the extra mile. And of course, many times, and perhaps even most of the time, that's exactly what Christ would do. But sometimes Christ would get out the whip and he'd overturn some tables, because sometimes there's righteous indignation. And that's what we saw on that Sunday and Monday of Holy Week, is Christ, the righteous judge, trying to purify, trying to clean house, do what the religious leaders in that day were not doing, which was looking with a realistic eye on what they were doing and the evil that had crept into their traditions and into their hearts. And of course, that brings us to us. What are we doing to prepare our hearts for this Holy Week? Are we meditating, and are we introspective? Are we asking ourselves, could we be in some way like those Pharisees and Sadducees and high priests, doing some outward symbols of goodness, but our heart is not right? So I urge us all, let us be like Jesus. Let us look candidly, robustly, and honestly. And then let us take action to purify our lives, no matter what that means. For we are meant for holy living on Holy Week and every day. I'm Lenora Bresler. Visit me tomorrow as we continue to prepare ourselves for Resurrection Sunday here on the Bible, Delight in the Details.